action up next here at Brave CF38, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce, first of all, to the blue corner, David Jacobsson.
David Fatboy Slim Jacobsson should maybe change his name to Captain Casual, just with the way he was walking in there. A confidence and a casual demeanor.
This is a guy with just as much swag as he has talent, and for good reason. At just 24 years old, he has become one of the most talked about fighters in Sweden. He really broke through last year when he just challenged everyone in his division, calling them out, calling them names, going for some trash talk. And then he broke out with a fantastic performance with a decision win over Saeed Ganji.
6-2 as a professional, 1 win by KO, 3 by submission, 2 decision. Currently riding a 3-fight win streak, so high on confidence.
And next, allow me to introduce his opponent into the red corner, Dilmurod Movlonov.
Dilmurod Kamikaze Movlonov attempting to bring a weapon into the cage with him. No, sir, that is not permitted. As a veteran, you should know that. 37 years old, 2-0 as a pro. Both those wins coming by way of finish. He last competed in 2017. So a little bit of a layoff, but in that time, he has such a strong traditional background, a decorated judoka, a black belt, a 4-time Swedish judo champion, a 5-time Nordic judo champion, a gold in the Swedish National Sanda Championships. Very well-rounded with regards to traditional martial arts.
Absolutely, but he is more than just a grappler. He grew up fighting in the schoolyard. He said that after each class, there would be, or every day, there would be a 15-minute break where him and his classmates would just meet up in the recess yard and go at it.
Also has medaled extensively in sports sambo, a gold in the Asia Championships, 2 silvers in the World Sports Sambo Games. So a very, very dangerous mixed martial artist indeed, Seb.
Absolutely, and this is a no-nonsense guy. He's not one for trash talk. He's barely one for social media. Unlike his opponent, David Jacobsson. And when I asked Movlonov about, like, what do you think about some of the things that Jacobsson has been saying, he's been throwing a bit of shade, he said, let the puppy bark.
The old dog versus the new puppy in the yard. Can you teach an old dog new tricks? We'll find out tonight. But for Fatboy Slim, it is right here, right now in this bout.
Brave Combat Federation presents 3 5-minute rounds of professional mixed martial arts in the catchweight bout. Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Halmstad, Sweden. He stands at 185 centimeters tall. He weighs in at 74 kilograms with a professional record of 6 wins and 2 losses. David Fatboy Slim Jacobsson! Across the cage, his opponent stands in the red corner, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden. He stands at 174 centimeters tall. He weighs in at 73 kilograms. He has an undefeated pro record of 2 fights and 2 wins. Dilmurod Kamikaze Movlonov! Our referee in charge of the action is Mr. Deck Larkin. Let's get down to business.
Tail of the tape, the biggest discrepancy there is in the age. Interesting, Dilmurod came in 1 kilo lighter than the officially agreed upon 74 kilos.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, I mean, perhaps the weight cut just went unexpectedly well. Looks very calm, he does. And David Jacobsson waving to the imaginary audience. He is a funny guy.
You can tell that's a young man that's having fun in there even before the fists have started flying. Really hit a purple patch in his career, riding a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had 2 fights in less than 1 month, both victories, obviously. Hard leg kick there from Movlonov.
Very intelligent fighter for only being 24 years old. Doesn't push or rush the action. Will push the pace, but won't rush the action.
And he is a guy who just lives and breathes combat sports. He runs his own MMA promotion as well. He teaches free grappling to kids who have problems with bullying. So he is more than just a funny guy. And whoa!
Big double underhooks established. And dare I say, a little bit of old man strength creeping in there from Kamikaze. But nice work from Jacobsson, trying to frame, suppressed by Dilmurod.
And Movlonov's corner calling for elbows from top position. Let's see if he can get some offense going from...
But look at how Jacobsson's trying to move those hips, potentially trying to set up an armbar. Dilmurod, wise to it, brings those elbows in a little bit closer, a little bit tighter. Needs to respect the ground game of the BJJ purple belt.
And there is more at stake than just a victory for Jacobsson, because as I mentioned before, he does have a tattoo bet going with his brother and with Robert Nyström. The deal is that the one with most strikes landed, that he wins, and the losers will have to choose a tattoo on either the bicep, the lower back, or the buttocks. So definitely a bit at stake here.
It's got to be the bicep, right?
That's what I would choose.
You can see Jacobsson trying to establish a butterfly hook, perhaps thinking about the sweep, but again shut down by Dilmurod, a BJJ blue belt in his own right.
That just speaks to the grappling experience of Movlonov.
And whilst on paper he may be a BJJ blue belt, his grappling experience and knowledge by far outweighs that.
Top notch, absolutely.
Trying to get in on the guillotine momentarily. But right now he's like a fire blanket, shutting down the spark of David Fatboy Slim Jacobsson. And as a wise man once said, you can't start a fire without a spark, Seb.
Absolutely. And Jacobsson, he's not one to just take easy fights. I mean, he has been known to play spoiler, to score upsets in his opponent's home cities. He defeated Danish prospect Thomas Jessing, who had more than 3 times the experience.
Oh, may try to get in on the ankle here. That's crafty jiu-jitsu. Parlays that into an advantageous position of his own. Needs to be wary of the up kicks in this position. Dilmurod needed to be careful in a situation like that. Digging in for the underhook could have potentially set himself up in a crucifix position. Potential work for a head-arm triangle here if Jacobsson can get free. This is what he looks to be setting up, Seb.
Yeah, I think so.
Deep thud on those shots to the body.
Less than 2 minutes left to work here.
And it must be said, Jacobsson does have a win via TKO due to breaking a rib of his opponent.
Yes, I remember that fight.
So he does have form for this kind of punishment.
Oh, hard elbows to the midsection there. And, I talked to Jacobsson about it, and he said, people are sleeping on my strikes. Because...
Oh, he's punishing the body. Oh, he's hitting Dilmurod like he owes him money. Has to be aware of taking the back. Could be setting up a triangle. Good work from Dilmurod to get himself back on top.
Really showing that veteran experience, but nicely done from Jacobsson, who takes his time. I'm not sure what's going on here. It seemed like he had the opportunity to stand up, but chose not to.
I think he's happy to play, and when I say play, I mean play, because he genuinely enjoys this type of a fight, this sort of positioning of a fight.
Yeah, and it seems like it's just as much of a mental battle as it is a physical one, because it's like he wanted to test Dilmurod's grappling there.
Jacobsson in on that single, but Dilmurod bounces right back up. Almost an element of pulling guard there from Jacobsson. Dilmurod inside the closed guard of Jacobsson, but every time you see him open the guard, he's trying to shift the hips. He's trying to create angles for himself.
And Jacobsson is one who enjoys a challenge. I mentioned his victory over Dane Thomas Jessing. That was obviously in Denmark. And then he also fought Ian Feenan, who had a 6-1 record when Jacobsson was very young in his career. He was served as basically a sacrificial lamb for the hometown fighter, but managed to pull off a submission victory instead.
First round comes to a close. A lot of interesting action. A lot of interesting little mini battles within the fight to be won and lost there, Seb.
And Jacobsson is one who does enjoy that mental aspect. I mean, he both enjoys fighting, just every aspect of that, but also he does like that little mental part as well. That's why he takes those verbal jabs at his opponent as well.
And I'm wondering just how much of a toll those pot shots and those snap down elbows into the solar plexus, the rib area of Dilmurod. I'm interested to know if that's going to have an effect moving forward.
Yeah, because those are strikes that, you know, they won't necessarily wear visibly on the fighter, but you can feel them so hard. And we've seen obviously evidence of that before with Jacobsson breaking the ribs of one of his opponents.
Both men getting final instruction from their corner. Referee Dickie Larkin clearing the cage with the authority that he possesses.
Look at, and we have some back and forth between the corners here, with Jacobsson's corner saying, look how tired he is, he's so tired, and Movlonov's corner saying, no, he's not.
Finally balanced, finally poised going into the second round here.
And let's see if we get more of a striking battle in the second round here. First round largely contested on the ground. Not sure really what Jacobsson signaled there. He signaled something to the referee.
Was it to the referee or was it to the corner of Dilmurod?
Maybe.
I think there might be a little bit of as you say, a little bit of gamesmanship creeping into this bout.
Well, I can tell you that there have been some words between Jacobsson and Arman Pupal, who we have in the corner of Movlonov. They're not the best of friends, to put it lightly.
A little bit of needle going into this fight.
Yeah, I'd say so. Nice kick there from Jacobsson.
Jacobsson seems to be finding his range with that jab. He's popped it off a few times with... That's got to give you confidence if you're landing those strikes and your corner is losing the plot every time.
I was thinking that exactly.
Nice takedown scored there by Kamikaze. Again, using a little bit of veteran savvy to try and establish the position.
But nice work from Jacobsson, getting back onto his feet. Throws a knee in the clinch as well. Let's see if he disengages or tries to once again get his opponent to the mat.
May change his level slightly to establish that double underhook position right in front of us here in our broadcast position. Potential trip here for Jacobsson.
Oh, another hard knee there from David Jacobsson, and again.
Right into the midsection. Much to the agreement of his corner.
Yeah, I wish his corner would hear me on that way. I feel like I could get anything done.
A little bit of a cage grab there by Dilmurod. A little bit of veteran savvy creeping in again. Needs to be aware of getting his back taken here, but does well to turn into the young fighter.
Once again, we've got Movlonov on top, but so far he hasn't been able to mount a whole lot of offense from top position. But it is also obviously because Jacobsson is keeping him busy. I mean,
as I say, every time you see David Jacobsson open up that guard, he's trying to create angles for himself. He's trying to create something progressive for himself.
He's a very creative fighter in there. I mean, again, he just truly loves mixed martial arts, and you can see that.
Trying to clamp down. May use this here to set up a sweep if he's immobilized one of the base arms of Movlonov.
And so far, Movlonov, as I mentioned, you know, he hasn't really been able to score a lot of ground and pound. And we see once,
he fell right into potential triangle set up here. Jacobsson first trying. Oh, lets it go. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's the second time where I feel like Jacobsson has sort of given up an edge on the ground. Maybe it is the tattoo bet that he's trying to make sure that he wins.
But from our position, it looked like he was in a prime setup for the triangle to work for it.
Yeah, it looked like that's the perfect position.
Does well to get back up to his feet. Has hold of a neck. Trying to split the base. May call for a little bit of separation if he can establish double underhooks. Just needs to bring that level of Movlonov up.
And we heard before Jacobsson's corner screaming, he's tired, and I wonder if there is some truth to that, because Movlonov pretty content in this position so far, working a little bit here, but
It's also an opportunity for both fighters to maybe get a little bit of a breather if they're stalling against one another, not really giving it as much of a back and forth element to it as we've seen previously.
Yeah.
Could be trying to creep in on that figure four grip.
Right in front of Movlonov's corner here.
I wonder if that could be misconstrued as perhaps a little bit of a headbutt, because there was a little bit of separation there when he swept the head over. Again, I could just be a little bit pedantic.
Oh, nicely done. Spinning out of it there does David Jacobsson.
Oh, beautiful. Straight leaping in. But could he potentially get caught? Potentially set up for a necktie here, should he choose, but no.
Oh,
finishes him mount.
Nice scramble.
This is beautiful jiu-jitsu, beautiful grappling. I thought momentarily we might have seen a reverse triangle set up there by Jacobsson. Did win his last fight via reverse triangle. Now setting up the back control.
Nicely done.
And whilst he may not get the finish here, he may just try and land as much damage as possible. Oh, that was a beautiful shot. Right up the middle twice. A little rub of the head. One of the most condescending
I mean, that's the thing. He's a cocky guy. He reminds me a bit of Anton Turkali, who we saw last week.
Yeah. He may as well have said, good job, sport, as he got up there. But here we see some of that action. Just beautiful takedown work from Dilmurod. It really has been back and forth in these clinch positions, hasn't it, Seb?
It's been a very exciting fight. I mean, both guys switching positions around. But I do feel like Jacobsson he seems just a little bit fresher. He seems like he's kind of, playing, having a good time in there. I gotta ask, Phil, what do you think about the scoring so far? How would you score the first two rounds?
It's the first round, perhaps you may give a slight ace to Dilmurod. The second round, with the way it finished, there's potentially scope to give it to David Jacobsson. But as I say, we're not sitting and we're not judging the fights as a professional judge would do. So I wouldn't put a lot of credence into what we're saying.
Yeah.
But potentially it could be all to play for going into the third.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of legitimacy to that. Much. Towel, okay. Deck for Bennett Larkin. Drawing both fighters off.
Ready? Let's do this.
Third and final round. Let's see who puts a stamp on this fight.
Potential there. You could hear the corner asking for that low kick just as distance is slowly being closed by Jacobsson.
Jacobsson stalking his opponent here.
I was just about to say, he's doing well to cut off the angle, try and create the angles for himself, cut off the cage.
He's been doing a good job at going to the body as well. I mean, we saw those elbows before and lots of knees as well, kicks. And there we have, I mean, it has got to be fantastic to have that kind of support that Jacobsson has in his
Who
corner.
needs a crowd when you have a corner like that?
Right.
That's all the encouragement and motivation you need right there. It's like watching an old school Muay Thai fight. Any strike that lands, hey, hey.
And here they are up against the cage. Movlonov working for a takedown. But it is, I mean, credit to David Jacobsson, who hasn't really been in the game so long. Started out with just MMA, really holding his own against a super experienced grappler like Dilmurod Movlonov, turning things around now.
As you say, only turned pro in October of 2016. As a fresh-faced 20-year-old.
And this is actually just his second fight in Sweden. He has, as I mentioned before, traditionally been the away fighter, traditionally played spoiler, and scored upsets on his opponent's home field. So it's nice for him to finally be back in Sweden to compete here again.
Does have 4 finishes on his record, so does have that capacity in an instant to finish the fight. 3 wins by way of submission, a triangle and 2 guillotines. So we know he's very dangerous off his back. Again, both fighters engaging in this taxing position where they're trying to wear on each other.
And Movlonov really trying his hardest to get a takedown here, but I mean, credit to Jacobsson's defense here. He's really making Movlonov pay, throwing knees whenever he gets a chance, staying busy. I want Jacobsson's corner at my birthday.
At the birthday, I'd just be happy if they followed me around the house and had that kind of enthusiasm when I'm doing
While
the
you're
dishes
cleaning.
or something. Yeah.
I would certainly be motivated to do some dishes and vacuuming.
Referee Dick Larkin calls for a little bit of separation. And who does this really benefit, Sebastian?
You know what? I think it benefits Movlonov because I think he is a little bit more tired. You throw some shots
Oh,
there.
maybe momentarily a little bit of wobbliness in the legs of David Jacobsson.
Yeah, I wonder if he is hurt. It's hard to tell because he does, act kind of nonchalant at times.
I do think there was a little bit of give in the legs there when a big shot
Yeah.
landed, Seb. So right now, it may be within the best interest of Kamikaze to separate and land those strikes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Then, as you say, you just don't know with the enigma that is David Jacobsson. He may be playing possum a little bit to try and
Yeah.
set something up.
I mean, he's a crafty guy. I would not put it past him to play possum. And Arman Popal in the corner of Movlonov saying, we're not here to score points, we're here to hurt him.
90 seconds left in the third and final round. And again, this fight very much for me is on a knife edge. It's going to come down to who wants it more, who's willing to take that risk, who's willing to
Who can make a statement here in the third round and really to kind of steal the fight.
Definitely.
It's been close enough so far. Just a little bit over 1 minute left here in the final round.
Level change there from Dilmurod. Perhaps trying to get in on a single here or a high crotch. Nice takedown defense from Jacobsson.
Yeah, very nicely done.
And again, they're landing right back in that position. But now Jacobsson in the ascendancy gets the takedown. Could slide right through into mount should he choose to. He did finish strong in the second with heavy ground and pound.
And
he has the arm isolated here. He has that Dagestani handcuff.
He does, yeah. And this might be enough to steal the round if he doesn't get a finish.
He's just isolating that beautifully, preventing Dilmurod from defending himself. He's working the body again. I'd like to see him bring it up a little bit, start smashing the head.
I mean, he's already invested in those body strikes, so yeah, I totally agree. Time to go up high, and it's, he probably hearing us because he is right in front of our broadcast position. And
free him off elbow.
Thunderous elbow.
May look for a couple more of those. May free him off and just cut through the guard.
And I have not been counting, but I think David Jacobsson just won the tattoo bet.
Again, very, very strong finish for David Jacobsson.
Absolutely.
And again, a very difficult fight to judge.
Yeah, it was close in many situations. It's hard really to gauge even who did the most damage.
And there's where you see the slight wobble, the slight lack of composure. I think another shot comes in here. I think it was the straight, created a little bit of wobble in the leg. So, again, I'm sure the judges saw that as much as we did. Jacobsson just chilling like a villain in his corner. Cheers to the crowd.
It is hard not to be entertained by David Jacobsson, both inside and outside of a fight.
Genuinely entertaining, back and forth. And that was a real war of attrition, Sebastian.
Definitely. They both really pushed each other to the brink. Both guys had their moments. Both guys landed good strikes. Both guys had good grappling positions as well.
And it's taken a little bit of time to get the scorecards, which to me says it was a very close fight.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm certainly on pins and needles here right now.
Lance Murdoch making his way into the cage, which means we have a decision. So let's fire it up to him to make everything official.
Blood, sweat, and tears, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we consult the judges' scorecards. Judge A scored it 29-28. Judge B scored it 30-27. Judge C also scored it 30-27. It is a unanimous decision. To the blue corner, David Jacobsson.
There we have it. Fat Boy Slim lining up another victory after edging out Dilmurod Movlonov.
And that was perhaps the hardest earned victory of his mixed martial arts career, taking on a martial arts veteran like Dilmurod Movlonov, and he passed that test with flying colors.
Absolutely. I mean, he's proved that he is a force to be reckoned with. And I'm pretty sure that we can await a lot of success from David Jacobsson. He's good, you know, he's shooting for the stars, and he got a great start here.
Now moves to 7-2 in his professional career. Maybe at that stage where he's going to take that big step up in competition, face in his next fight a more established veteran.
I mean, I know that he's been interested in some of the fighters here in Brave. There are some fighters who have appeared on his radar.
And I'm pretty sure he issued an open challenge to pretty much not just all Brave weight divisions, but the entire roster.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy that Jacobsson is.
Again, a genuinely enthralling, entertaining battle between two absolute savages.
Yeah, and hats off to Dilmurod Movlonov as well.
Oh, for sure.
Coming back after such a long layoff and putting in a strong performance against such a bright, up-and-coming prospect like David Jacobsson.
Okay, Brave Nation, our next two fighters are ready to roll. It's